Hi there, Deborah here from Journey to Wellness and the Journey to Wellness Total Fat Loss System, where I help you get in the best shape of your life. I'd like to welcome you to the first video in my video workshop series called Avoiding Weight Loss Pitfalls, where I'm going to walk you through some of the most common mistakes that we make when we're trying to lose weight and reshape our body. Now, I know a lot of these you've probably heard before. You're going to roll your eyes and go, "Oh, Deb, I've heard this all before," but it's good to hear it again. It's nice to keep it fresh in your mind. And also, there's probably going to be some things that you didn't even think of. So in this first video, what I'm going to talk about are the 8 dieting mistakes that we can make when we're trying to lose weight. So this has anything to do, when I say diet, I mean the food that we're eating. So let's get right into the first one, which I think is the most common one that we think of when we think about I need to lose weight, or we think about what somebody's doing wrong when they're trying to lose weight. So our first dieting pitfall that I want you to avoid is, of course, eating too much. No brainer, right? Of course, you can't eat too much. But we forget that the serving sizes today are absolutely huge, especially when it comes to some of the starchy, like the pastas, even our burgers, our buns are getting bigger, everything. So really want to pay attention to those serving sizes that we're eating. Because when you think what you have is only 1 serving or 2 servings, in actual fact, it's 4 or 5, that's how you can really start hurting your weight loss goals. So let's lead into the second mistake that a lot of us make, and it's actually going to contradict the first thing that I just said, and that is you're not eating enough. It's like, okay, am I eating too much? Am I not eating enough? There's a fine line between the two that you have to be in order to burn calories, in order to burn body fat, in order to lose body fat, in order to lose weight. So what happens is, okay, we're eating too much on one hand, and that's an obvious one. But I'm not eating enough. Shouldn't I be losing weight? And technically, yeah, if you're going to cut out calories, you're definitely going to lose weight. But what happens is when you cut down your calories too much, when we go on a diet, we start cutting out food, cutting out calories, cutting out certain food groups, and you cut down those calories so low that your body can't function properly. So our bodies are extremely smart, and what do you think it's going to do when you start starving it? It's going to slow all the processes down so it burns as few calories as possible. And when you go for a long period of time of not eating enough, your metabolism pretty much comes to a screeching halt. So how does that hurt when you're not eating enough food? Well, then all of a sudden, you're only going to be able to maintain that for so long. And what's going to happen is you're going to give up on that diet, or you're going to change your eating habits, or you're going to have a cheat night, or, oh, I'm just going to give it up for this weekend. But your metabolism is not running. It's stopped. It's stalled. So what happens when you eat all that crappy food, or you have your cheat, or you go on a little party, whatever that is, your metabolism is thinking, you know what? I think I'm just going to not do anything because I don't know when you're going to starve me again. So it's going to store all of that food as fat in your body. And that's why when you're not eating enough, you end up gaining weight in the long run. Okay, on to number 3. And this one again has to do with your metabolism. And it's, oh, I can almost hear the groans, not eating breakfast. Why won't you eat your breakfast? Very, very important. I know a lot of times when we wake up in the morning, oh, we just don't feel like eating, we're tired. But I promise you, if you start just eating a little bit each morning, eventually you're going to get used to it, and it won't be so difficult to get in that meal in the morning. The breakfast is, oh my goodness, we've been hearing this since we were in grade 2. the breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and it's true. This is what gets you started in the day. It's what gets you revved up in the day. Coffee is not going to cut it. Your body needs fuel. Food is fuel. If you don't fuel it, it's not going to have the energy, and you're going to have to fake it by eating sugar and caffeine. So please make sure that you're eating breakfast. So that's number 3. On to number 4, not eating enough protein. And ladies, we are the most guilty for this one. We need protein. Protein, when we eat protein with other types of foods, it actually fills us up more, so it makes us feel fuller, so we're not starving again in a half an hour. So please remember the protein. It's very, very important for your metabolism boosting, because protein will help repair your muscles. The more muscles you have, the more metabolism you're going to have. The faster your metabolism is, the more fat you're going to lose. It's a vicious cycle. So please make sure you're getting in enough protein. And this doesn't have to be meat. If you're not a meat eater, find different sources of protein. There are lots of them out there. This is one of the things I stress in the Total Fat Loss program, is that I like to see a little tiny bit of protein at every single meal throughout the day. It doesn't have to be a lot, but definitely some. On to number 5, eating at the wrong time of the day. How many people go most of the day with hardly eating anything, and then all of a sudden at supper time you are absolutely famished and you start eating, and you eat, and you eat, and you eat until you go to bed? So many people, it's so common to do this, and it's one of the worst things that you can do, because unless you're running a marathon at 11 o'clock at night, when in the world are you going to burn off all of those calories that you just consumed between 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock? You're simply not going to do it. You're going to go to bed, you're going to go to sleep, and all your processes are going to slow down, and what's going to happen? It's not going to get burned off. Your body has to do something with it. Oh, let's store it as fat. Please remember, you start with breakfast in the morning you're eating, you go throughout the day, you eat your meals evenly spaced apart, and then you stop eating towards the evening. Don't leave it so late. Don't consume all of your calories at night. And number 6, skipping meals or snacks. We get busy. I get it. Time flies by. You don't realize that, oh my goodness, all of a sudden it's been 6 hours. Why am I so hungry? Oh, I haven't eaten in 6 hours. So it's really, really important that you don't skip your meals. What I suggest, and this is something that I really pay attention to for my members that submit food journals to me, the first thing I look for before I even look at what they're eating is I look at how often they're eating. I don't like to see more than 3 hours go in between meals. If you're eating small meals every 3 hours, your body will be a fat burning machine. So do what you have to do. Do you have to set a timer? Do you have to set reminders on your phone? It doesn't matter. Do whatever you need to remind yourself, oh, 3 hours are up. I need to have a little bit of food again. Now, I'm not talking huge meals every 3 hours, because that's just not going to work at all. It's small meals. Remember that little bit of either vegetable or fruit or complex carbohydrate with that little bit of protein every 3 hours. And that's really going to help you rev up the metabolism and burn lots of calories throughout the day. Number 7. This is kind of, again, the opposite of what I just said about missing the snacks and the meals. And that is your mini cheats or your mindless eating. Mini cheats. You know, just because you take that little bit of a snack here and a little bit of a snack there, not the healthy snacks, but, oh, I'm just going to have this little bar and I'm just going to have this candy and, oh, it's only one tiny cupcake. You start adding that up throughout the week, it's going to add up big time. It is going to put huge numbers on your calorie intake. So you really want to be mindful of those mini cheat meals. I know you think, oh, it's only one little. 1 little plus 1 little plus 1 little equals a whole lot of bad stuff. So please be careful of that. It does add up as you go through your days and your weeks. And with that is the mindless eating. And I think parents are probably the most guilty for this, but I think we're all susceptible to it. And that is eating without even thinking about it. You're standing and looking in the fridge and going, oh, why am I even standing here? I'm not hungry. or there's something just happens to be there and you just put your hand in and you take a couple and it's in your mouth and you don't even realize how it got there. For parents, a big one is eating what's ever left on your kids' plates. Stop doing that. It's not yours to begin with. You don't need those extra calories. I know you feel like, oh, I don't want it to go to waste, but it is. If you're eating it and you don't need to be, it's going to waste because it's just going to be stored fat in your body. So please stay away from the kids' food. Don't eat whatever's left on their plate. I'm guilty of it. I know. I get it. So please, please, please work hard on trying to avoid that one. And finally, this is one that we probably don't even think of much. And this is probably one of the biggest pitfalls for a lot of people, is eating foods that cause you problems. We're hearing it all the time. We have a lot of sensitivities and allergies to dairy, to gluten, to different types of foods, to soy. So you really have to be careful of the foods that's causing you problems. And what happens a lot of times is we don't even know what foods are causing us problems. So you really have to start paying attention to that. One thing I do recommend is if you think there are foods that are causing you problems, is start a journal. Start recording the food that you're eating so that you can pay attention to, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling very well, or my stomach's hurting, or whatever that happens to be. Write it down, and eventually you might notice a trend happening that when you eat a lot of bread, all of a sudden you're not feeling well, or you have a glass of milk and a couple hours later you're gassy or you're not feeling well. So really start paying attention to that, and then you can start eliminating some foods and seeing how you feel when they're gone. So just pay attention. Record your food, pay attention to what you're eating, and then see if by cutting out some of those foods, if it makes you feel better. If you've been cutting out, say, dairy for a month, and you're feeling pretty good, and all of a sudden you have some cheese or a glass of milk and you feel terrible, you can be pretty sure that dairy causes you problems. So when you have allergies or sensitivities to food, your body's not digesting it properly. And when your body's not digesting it properly, your body doesn't function properly. And again, the whole thing when we're talking about weight loss, losing weight, reshaping our body, is we want our body functioning properly. So that would be the 8th one, is to pay attention and try to avoid foods that cause you problems. So that is the 8 top dieting mistakes that people can make when they're trying to lose weight or reshape their body. So what I hope you can do is take away from this video a couple of things, or all 8 if you're really motivated. Take away those things, start implementing them into your life, and I promise you, if you really start working on making these changes and focusing on changing those things in your diet, you will start seeing the results that you want. I promise you that. So what I'd like us to do now is, we've absorbed all this dieting information. We're going to go on to video 2, where we're going to talk about some of the lifestyle mistakes that we can make when we're trying to lose weight. So not just the dieting, but there's also lifestyle stuff that we need to think about as well. So let's head on over to video 2. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was of some help to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, have a great day, and stay fit.